Welcome to another episode of Mentes Progresivas. I am Omar Prieto, your host, and today we have Lindsay. Lindsay, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. Lindsay has been in the corporate world for 9 years, and then she transitioned into building her own company. And right now she's thriving. She's building amazing things. And I'm just excited to have you here. Thank you so much. I can wait to hear a little more about everything that you're creating. It sounds amazing. Just the name of your company, Limitless with Lindsay. It sounds very intriguing to me, and it's a topic that me particular, I'm really excited. By the way, I want to mention that Limitless for me, I can understand really well that you all about the infinite mindset, and that's something that I want to tap into it. So welcome to the show, Lindsay. Thank you so much for being here.
That was an amazing introduction. I want to hear that every day. So much for having me and this opportunity to speak with your audience. I'm excited.
Awesome. No, thank you. This is gonna be awesome. Just so everybody understands, we've been trying to get this going, and finally we're here. And I want to talk about the importance of that, right? When things don't go the way you expecting them or the way you want them to go. You obviously work with a lot of people where they have limiting beliefs, when they don't see that they are there, but you're able to help them see them and to spot them and try to help them navigate and work on them. We navigate this platform in this particular thing that we encounter when it comes down to technology. What would be something that for you popped out in your head while we were trying to navigate all that? For me, it was fascinating, but I want to hear your thoughts on it because this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. What a great opportunity that we were able to experience a real human experience at the beginning of trying to record this podcast episode. I think obviously because I am a human, I had some limiting beliefs in that moment. Like, when we start recording, am I not going to be on and the best version of myself? Because there was that little delay. But then I quickly reversed that thought into more of like an abundant mindset. And that's something we can talk about now because we are human, and most of the time it doesn't work out the way that we're planning it to. So just to find the beauty in every little thing that happens.
Amazing. No, this is great because it's really interesting to see how you experience it. Because for me, when it was happening, all I can thinking, I'm like, this is what else can we try? What else? What are my options? For me, it's like, okay, it's clearly we tried so many different things, but what is my other options? My brain is always wired that way. When something just doesn't work, my brain goes automatically and like, well, this didn't work and it didn't go as we planned. What are my other options? Start looking into other options. So then we try the phone, and then at the end of them, like, hey, let's go into this other platform and we want to record it. And then we just take it from there. Because at the end of the day, the importance for me is having the whole entire experience, but you obviously working limiting beliefs and you always working on that mindset. So for me, it was interested enough to see the way you were acting, and you was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm like, this is really cool. Like, there was not a time when I didn't sense that you were freaking out. There wasn't a time when you were like, there was nothing. It was just like nothing happens. Like, everything is fine. And for me, it's really amazing to experience it because I want to make sure that it's not about perfection for me. It's all about just do it, and then you pivot. You learn what is the feedback, right? What is the feedback when it comes down to all of this? There's so much feedback when it comes down to it. But for me, it's all about the experience. Just do it, try it, and see how it goes. And I want to go into your journey now because it seems that that is what happens with you. 9 years in the corporate world, you decided to go into your own journey. I want to hear a little more about that and the mindset that you said, because I feel that a lot of people is going to be able to relate to it, and especially those entrepreneurs, CEOs, or business people that are just trying to go into a different direction. They don't have the courage. They have, they haven't understand what really takes in order for them to just do it.
I think my story of how I got here starts a little earlier for me personally. I was always an individual that struggled with my mental health, whether it was anxiety, depression, whatnot. And ever since I was young, I wanted to feel that connection and to feel some kind of purpose. My mind is constantly playing tricks on me, but there must be a reason why, right? But we can't help other people or truly find our true calling, our true purpose until, we work on our inner selves. So it was years in the making. And in 2017, I made the very brave decision to check myself into a residential treatment center to work through my mental health. And that is by far the best decision I've ever made. That is still like my most proudest moment. And that was a turning point. From there, I learned a ton of tools. I gained for the first time self-worth, self-love. Like, wow, I'm excited to do this, this, and this. And even crazier than that, I learned about myself. You could have asked me what I wanted to do when in 10 years' time, or what my favorite show was, what I wanted to do in my free time. And I wouldn't really know. I would maybe just say something I thought was the correct social answer, but I never felt it deep inside. So I think that is something I really gained, was my self-awareness and rediscovering of myself, because, well, I'm sure we'll talk about this. That's the main foundation when I work with my clients, is that self-discovery point. So when I kind of came out from that not so great time, but with all these different tools and resources, all I could think about was that little version of me, when I wanted to make a difference and I wanted a purpose. And I felt the strongest calling after those moments in 2017. So ever since then, I did volunteering. I tried to write a book. I tried to start little businesses here and there. And whether it was just the entrepreneur in me, who is always thinking about multiple things at once, or the ADHD side of me, I never really landed on one specific thing, but was always looking for signs from God and the universe of what to do next. And I was in my last corporate job, and it was a not so great environment. It was really deteriorating my mental health. And the biggest thing is I didn't have a purpose. I had no fulfillment. I was just doing the same mundane thing every single day, which I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. And I was also being treated really badly. So I looked in my email one day and I said, "Oh, Jay Shetty. I've been following him for so long. He was one of the individuals in his platform, helped me in my 2017 time." And I looked and they were doing applications for the next cohort for coaching. And I said, you know what? I think this might be the next step. And I signed up, and automatically I already loved it, because the first half of that education, as you know, Omar, was all about personal development. And I was like, okay, I love this. This is my cup of tea. And then the second half was all about application, working with clients for the first time. And I remember just within the first few minutes of that first client call, I'm in the right place. This makes sense. And from there, I left corporate shortly after that, made the big leap. And it was definitely not an easy decision. It was definitely the harder thing to do. I could have left the company and joined another company. But I left the company and started my own company. And yeah, we're growing, small but mighty, just me, myself, and I. And I have a lot of plans for the future. And I'm so excited just being in the present moment and enjoying everything that this business already is.
This is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm glad to hear that you have the courage to take care of yourself and put yourself first. So congratulations on that. Really want to acknowledge it. It's not easy to really, accept that, I'm not able to do this alone. I need the help of somebody else. I need professional help. And I think me personally, I really want to applaud you for that because it's hard. Thank you so much for sharing with us. It's clear to me the fact that you mentioned the foundation that is getting to know yourself. A lots of us and so many people, when it comes down to they want to go into building their own business or create a company or just become an entrepreneur, they think about themselves. However, all they think is like, I need to build a business. And when they, like, for example, when they get to me, I'm like, okay, so let's start. How much you know yourself, so so I can understand your company. When you start working, I'm like, there's a missing like piece in here. We really, as entrepreneurs and as a business owner, CEOs, we really had to understand how we functioned because everything translates to the outcome. It doesn't matter what, everything is going to translate to the outcome. It's going to show, it's going to one way or another, right? So for you, you talk about the foundation and getting to know yourself. And for me, I this is the second time we speak, and it's really amazing to see your foundation being strong. We experienced it just a moments ago with something. I'm like, okay, you got it. Like it doesn't matter what I throw at you, you'll be fine. Like you can start walking, and I just want to mention that because I think it's really really amazing everything that you're creating. And you mentioned another thing about there's something inside of you is always looking for something different, something with more purpose. Now that you created your company and you doing all these amazing things, what are the limiting beliefs that sometimes it still pops in and you are like, wow, still here. However, because you have different coping mechanisms, you have different skill set than before, you're like, it's okay. Let me go with it. Let me navigate the best way possible I can so I can continue to move on and grow.
Yeah. I think having a toolbox of whether it's resources, support, um, and just little like tools that work for you is so important. But when I say works for you, I mean you, the specific individual, because there might be something that works for me and it might not flow with you. So that's something I tell my clients, or I do workshops too. And I say, we're going to go through this and this tool. But if it doesn't, vibe with you, if it doesn't match with your flow, don't force it. But I have a really, really simple tool that works for me, and it's my very favorite one, and it's the power of yet. And we all have heard positive thinking. It's one of the most important things when you're talking about mindset. And roll your eyes. You're like, I've tried to be positive. It's hard. Yeah, I know. Me too.
Hmm.
And one of the easiest things to do, though, when you're saying, let's go back to what happened earlier. We're not able to record this podcast. That could be a complete sentence, but is that helpful to us? But you can easily just add one simple word at the end. I cannot record this podcast yet. And it gives so much hope, that one simple word of possibility, right? And
Yeah.
that one simple word is probably the easiest coping mechanism for anxiety and a not so great mindset. It's really easy to apply.
Wow. Thank you so much. We're not able to record this podcast yet. I like it. I like it. It's really cool to hear that. And thank you so much for mentioning that. There's a lot of things that sometimes we're gonna do, and it works really well for us, but might not work with the other people. And we as a coaches, we usually trying to really, like this has to work for everybody. And sometimes it just doesn't work for everybody. I'll be honest with you. And it has to do once again how much that person knows themselves and how much they are willing to go and do the work that they supposed to do in order for them to go in the direction or at least what they're trying to aiming for, right? So it is pretty amazing for you to understand that now you work with people when it comes down to limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
What will be one of the main things when people comes to you that you see a pattern? It's like, okay, I see patterns. For me, when people comes to me, I'm like, I see the patterns and I can identify, and that's something that I work, something that I love. Because when I'm able to identify like certain things, I'm like, okay, this keeps repeating. Look, let me bring it to your attention. What do you want to do right now? Right? For you, working with the people that comes and work with you, what is one or maybe a few of the partners that you seen, and what tools or tips you share with them in order for them to navigate and work on that particular process and whatever they had to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess just to take a step back, Limitless with Lindsay definitely is a lot of limiting beliefs and the internal limitations that hold us back from getting to our end goal, our dream life. But it's also the obstacles that are in our way too. So not just internal, but external limitations. So one of the first things that I do with my clients is build that self-awareness. You've been doing X, Y, and Z to help you get to your end goal, and it's not working. And they feel, really bad about themselves, and they're judging themselves, and they're even thinking, do I deserve that end goal? And I think the first thing we work on is what truly is holding you back right now and pinpointing that. So really cultivating that self-awareness is always number one so that we can find out that limiting internal or external thing. And that's usually done with just a lot of questions. I ask them a lot of questions and I give them the space. And I say over and over and over again, this is a judgment-free zone. I'm not judging you. And what I ask is, please do not judge yourself. What's coming out of your mouth, just let it flow and listen to yourself, right? I don't think we do that enough. Listen to ourselves. And I also give, specific reflection prompts. There's something that I've noticed really helps with a lot of my clients, and even in the workshops that I do, is a simple scale. So on one end, the question could be how I feel about my current work conditions. And one could be really badly. And then the other side is like very strongly. I feel like I really like my current work conditions. Even asking those simple questions consistently to yourself brings so much self-awareness of what really the limiting obstacle is in their way. So I think just simple little self-awareness tactics at first really sets the foundation. Just bringing awareness to what it is, so then we could figure out the right approach for you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm really excited all about this because his self-awareness is the main thing when it comes down to being an entrepreneur. You really get to know yourself, and from there you start developing what you want to work on. You keep mentioning workshops, and I want to talk about a little bit about that, because you created your company and you start trying several things. Workshop seems one of the main things that are continue to work for you and continue to be very successful in many ways. When it comes down to whether you advertise in social media, whether it's email, or whether just word of mouth, right? Seems to be a really strong tool that you have and you provide to the people you work with. When it comes down to your company, how you were able to identify, I really want to workshop, because now everybody wants to do workshops. But the reality is doing a workshop, it's not as simple, it's not as easy as everybody thinks it is. It takes a lot more than just showing up for yourself and being in front of people and let's see how much you know your stuff, because people is going to really ask you lots of things, because they coming with, number one, they coming with a curiosity, but number two, they paying for it. Mm-hmm. So the expectations is like, I need to get my money worth. Like, I really need to get, like, if I don't get it, I'm just never coming back, right? So what will be for you one of the tips you can give to people they want to go into that path of creating workshops?
Mm-hmm. I would recommend providing free workshops at first, especially virtually. It's very low commitment to your attendees, but you're also practicing. And you're not just practicing speaking in front of a group, you're practicing building a story and the slides. Like, that's all work and it takes practice, right? So I would definitely recommend first starting out with free whether it's a masterclass, webinar, workshop, and you can even offer a freebie at the end. So even though I do paid workshops now, I do consistently work on free workshops too, because you can, give more like free resources at the end or like a deal. So if you are building out a larger program, so for example, I eventually will be building out a digital course and it will be several weeks long. And in one of my next workshops, it will be free and it will be on that general topic. And at the end, I'll be saying something like, thank you so much for attending and giving me your time. If you would like to continue this discussion further, I have this course starting this date, and I'll be giving 20% off for everyone that attended this workshop. So those people that attended your workshop, they're warm leads. They're already interested in not just the content, but they're interested in you, and they're going to trust you more and give you that money a lot more easily than just you're scrolling on social media and seeing someone saying, come work with me. Like, they already kind of know you. You have that introduction.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So this is really fascinating. I love the fact that you mentioned service and just give without having any expectations. That's what I get from all that you had shared with us about these workshops. You are completely all about service and just giving to the community without, yes, at the end of the day, there's going to be something that I'm trying to get. However, hey, you are here. All I'm going to give you is my full energy, all my knowledge. However, want to take it to the next level, here it is. And to me, that's clearly pure marketing. And I love every time I see them, I'm like, okay, finally, somebody else is doing it. Because a lot of us are just trying to create a workshop without having any type of background, without even trying it. We trying to just aim, because we all need money. We all need it. We need more. I need more. I want more. But me, I'm always about and this is something that I learned from working with, working in the school and being part of the school and being part of Genius, and I seen how Jay Shetty provides the services, and he's all about service. So for me, it's very ingrained in me. I'm all the time, anytime I want to create something, I'm just giving it. Mm-hmm. Why? Because I'm getting so much feedback. I'm always looking for the feedback loop. I try it. What is the feedback? Then, okay, let me refine it. I got the feedback. Let me give another one. For me, I try it 3 times, what I call the beta. It's like 3 different phases of beta program.
Oh.
Why? Because I'm getting so much even, I'm getting narrow. Before I give everything, all of a sudden I'm like, what I learned is that sometimes I overwhelm people. See so much into it. And what I learned too is that when you overwhelm people, or when you over deliver, people gets overwhelmed.
Mhm.
So the minute that I start narrowing down the last group, I'm always telling them like, listen, this is my last one, and you're getting the best of the best, and it's very strict. And so it, it gets me because of the feedback, gives me all the loop, and all of a sudden I narrow, and that's how I niche down everything. So that's for me is a strategy that I try, but this strategy is not my strategy. It's a strategy that I seen Jay Shetty apply. I seen this school apply, and I'm like, this is how they do it. Let me see. Let me try it. Like you said, might not work for you, but it works for me. Why? Because I try it, but I implement it. But I'm always giving without expecting anything in return. Yes, I get the word of mouth. Yes, I get collect emails. There's so much that you get to collect that I like. For me, that's not my main thinking. My main thinking is like, I need to give. I need to create this because I know it's going to do something great. And it's going to serve the people that I'm really trying to serve, that I'm aiming for to help and support. And you have the whole entire service. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is the power of marketing. Now, the other thing you are doing is email. You obviously in social media. However, emails are your power, like in this case, your power tool, the most powerful tool you have in you. What would you say to people that are not a big fan because they think it's the more we advance in technology, they're like, yeah, emails isn't the it's no longer like they don't no longer exist. What would you say to those people that are just like, yeah, I don't want to collect emails. I just want to go and apply everything in social media.
I get it because I thought the same thing. I would say, first and foremost, I'm not an email expert. I'm learning as much as I can. And the person that I've been learning so much from, her name is Amy Porterfield, and she's an email genius. She has an evergreen program that teaches her students how to gain email leads. And she's wonderful. And so what I would say to them is, one, check out Amy because she has the answers to all of that. But also, email is the only tool at this moment, except text message. So I don't collect text messaging, cell phone numbers. I've seen it doesn't work as well for me. People don't really input it in it as much, but it's either email or phone that you're getting direct access to your leads. And you're able to kind of warm up to people a lot more, build that trust. So for me, my specific funnel is either some kind of free workshop and then a lot of email sequences that are specific to those people and what they're clicking on, their history with my emails, and then selling them on different things that would make sense to them. And I've seen that works really well. And then the other route, which is more frequent for my business, is lead magnets starting off instead of the workshop first. So a lead magnet, Amy Porterfield will teach you on that if you're interested, is any kind of free tool or resource that you're going to give for free that would benefit your specific target audience. So you might have seen this on social media, mostly where someone's saying, I'm a travel agent and I just produced this Excel template to help you plan the perfect trip itinerary. I'm like, wow, amazing. All I have to put is my name and email, and then it gets emailed to me. So it's a really easy way to capture those warm leads that are already interested in your industry, in your service, and all you're providing is a template. So right now I have a specific template that I am giving out as a free resource, and all in exchange is just the email. And that's been working really well.
Thank you. I appreciate you sharing all these tips and tools. I think it's magical.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you really trying everything. You mentioned several things that as entrepreneurs we need to know. And when you're building your company, those are crucial when it comes down to building your email list, when it comes down to funnels, how do they function? What are the main mm, what is the main result when it comes down to funnels? And you obviously just put your worth out there. Just put yourself up there and see. Who knows? Maybe it will relate to. But the main thing I want to talk about next is you being able to serve the people that you want to serve. And that's knowing the people. In this case, you can have a great funnel, but if you don't know your target audience or who you're trying to target, it's just not going to get you the results that you aiming for and you're looking for. In this case, when it comes down to your niche and when it comes down to the people you want to serve, what were the main things that you went through and now that you are applying when it comes down to the people that you're working with?
Are you asking how I find those specific people or how I identified those people?
Both, both. Yeah, both in this case.
Okay. So I think identifying who I wanted to work with was a long journey, a long, long journey. And I'd like to actually talk about this a little bit because I think this could be very similar to some other entrepreneurs. I was trying to reach people that had money to spend at first. So I was trying to go for like more of the executives or not necessarily early entrepreneurs, but people that have already scaled their business, people that are looking to grow further, but already had the money now. And it was not working. It was not working for so many reasons. One, I don't relate to that yet. And see how I added the yet in there? And that's just not what I'm passionate about talking about, period. That wasn't authentic to me. So I had to take a couple, 5 or so steps back and actually do the process that I work on with my clients. What matters to me? What are my values? What drives me? And what does that look like when I'm thinking of my target audience, the people that I really want to be working with, whether buying my products, working one-on-one, doing the workshops, they're all a little different, but they're all under like the same umbrella of people. And what I found was I looked kind of back at 2017 me. Who did I really want to help? I wanted to show people that once they look within themselves and find that person, it's so easy to come home to yourself and how nice it feels to be at home and comfortable in your own skin. And so my target kind of just ended up being late 20s, early 30s women who are feeling lost and limited, whether internally or externally, and they're stuck at a crossroads. What's next? I don't know. I don't know what path to take because I don't really know what matters to me specifically. So that's them. And I cater when I'm putting on social media, my emails that I'm putting out, the lead magnets to that general, they all are helping in some way those people and where they are as a moment.
Yeah. This is fascinating, though. Thank you so much for sharing those insights, and I appreciate the fact that you acknowledge the fact that, listen, I'm aiming something that I just don't relate to.
Yeah.
You were looking from the outside, something inside of you said, well, we gotta look in the inside. And you went back into your values, what are your strengths, and what is it like? Well, who am I trying to serve? Like, why does even my company exist, or why? For to me, that's the foundation. That's something that I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, because just like you, they come and they trying to work. Well, I'm trying to serve X, Y, Y. Okay, and those are the people you're trying to serve. That's amazing. What are your values? What are the strengths? And I think, I'm like, you think this is your values. Like, we had to solidify that, because once you create a strong foundation, doesn't matter what happened up here, we can shake it off, because this is strong to you. You'll be like, it's okay. Now it's time to pivot. Right now it's time to go in a different direction. In this case, you like, that doesn't just align. Let me go. Like, I had to be true to myself. I'm like, who I really want to serve, who I really trying to support, and then you start aiming for that particular direction. And I love the whole entire circle that you have shared with us, because it's clear, it's very clear, the fact that it's all about service, and you're just trying to find your purpose, and you're trying to find yourself. You're very self-aware of several things. First of all, yourself, and several things that are working for you, and you trying to continue to grow and continue to evolve. I want to talk about a little bit of your company, because your company is thriving. Your company is going in a direction that I'm pretty sure you have that in mind. However, it might not go at the pace that you want it to go, but it's going, it's moving, and it continues to grow. And another thing that I want to talk about is the fact that you seek support from others, regardless of you being an entrepreneur. And that's something that when people comes to me saying like, oh my God, like, who you work with? Do you have a coach? And I'm like, yeah, I do have a coach. Well, I do have mentors, but that's what I choose to do. Why? Because I'm a mentor. I want to learn from different mentors, like what do they do? But I do have a mentor of several things that, like, for example, when it comes down to this podcast, I had to go with a person that identify. I'm like, I need a person who's going to help me to work on my speech. I need a person who's going to help me to understand and dial in at full speed, right in the moment, because I tried it before, but I did it on my own. But no, I need somebody else to tell me what they see that I'm not able to see. So I went to look for a mentor, and that person just look at it, the first episode, and just like, okay, this is what I see. What do you see? And we got together in that particular and gave me several things that I need to work. I need to identify in order for me to continue to work, continue to evolve. But you obviously seek support. But I want to talk a little bit. We'll get into that. But I want to talk a little bit about your company. How are you able to continue just to, like, the baby steps, right? It's just the baby steps, and you continue to move. Baby steps, you continue to move. I want you to tell me a little more about that particular path of your company.
I think first and foremost, yes, I'm doing the baby steps right now, and I think it is the best thing for me personally. However, getting to the baby steps was a challenge. I think the first time we talked, I mentioned I have so many things I want to do, and I was trying to take leaps in this direction, leaps in that direction, and I wasn't finishing any of it. My mind was constantly spiraling. So there's something innate within me that is just constantly thinking of the next thing. So that is something I really practice, because I know that that's not one of my best qualities. I really try to stay in the present and finish what I started. So, and like, what is my main goal right now? Sure, it's super beneficial and important to have annual goals, quarterly goals, 10-year goals, etc. But to stay in the present as much as possible. So while I still have really big goals, right now I'm focused on just a few things and setting the foundation of my business, and constantly going back to not just what my values are, but I have actually a worksheet that I give to my clients that are business owners, or are interested in being an entrepreneur. And it doesn't just ask them what their personal values are, and it has like 5 different steps. But the next section is all about their business values. What are the 5 values that your business is either right now encompassing or you want it to encompass? Because it is so important, like you said, the entrepreneurs that you work with, if you don't start with a strong foundation that makes sense for you in your inner truth, you're just going to go down the line and then realize that doesn't make any sense. My end goal actually isn't even the goal I want. And then you have to end up going all the way back. So you're going to end up wasting so much more time if you skip this step. So I've been taking a lot of time on that step. And right now I'm focused on workshops, one-on-one coaching. And I recently started an e-commerce part of the business. And I have my bigger goal for the rest of the year is doing a digital course. So everything that I'm focused on in the present moment is building the foundation for that next pillar of the business, that next offering.
Amazing. Thank you so much for mentioning your e-commerce. I was looking at super cute cups, super cute coffee cups, and you have a few shirts and things like that. Congratulations. I think it's really amazing the fact that you acknowledge what are my baby steps. We're trying to just create everything that we want for the company or for whatever we're trying to build. We don't know where to start, and we ended up doing nothing.
Yeah.
I would get overwhelmed with just like, this is just too much. For me, when you wanted to go into coaching, I was doing personal training. I'm still doing personal training, but I was doing personal training, and something inside of me was asking me, like, you got to do more, because I saw the opportunity on the people that I was working with. And sometimes there will be questions. I didn't know how to ask the questions. I would just like ask the questions like right away, and people will say to me, and when it comes down to personal training, they will say like, Omar, it's too early. It's only 6 or 7 a.m. for those type of questions. That feedback that they gave me, I was like, I need to learn how to ask better questions. And that's when installed on me, like, I need to do something. What else? So that's when I started doing my research. When it came down to building my e-commerce, I knew it from the get-go what I wanted to do, but I just like, I need to take it easy. I need to build something, work on it, let it walk, and once it starts walking on its own, now I can add it. So I build one by one, and when it comes down to the podcast, I say myself the same thing. I'm like, do I really have the time? Because I know what it really takes to build a podcast, because I've done it before. Do I really have the time? Yes. Okay. What are the values of the podcast? I went into, what are my values of my podcast? It's simple. It's 5. It's love, personal growth, innovation, leadership, and community. Simple. For me, those are, and what is my strengths, right? Me being able to connect with people, hear people, and my brain just starts wiring in ways that is just like, for me, it's fascinated, but I'm seeking different help from others, because I'm like, I'm wiring so much information, and I'm learning so much at such a fast pace that I'm like, I need to scale back. Like, I need, instead of for me just jump in, like, help me to scale back a little bit without letting my ADHD acting up and just like, it is going all over the place, right? So I do relate a lot of the things that you're doing, and it's really, really awesome to see and find other people that are doing and creating amazing things. Congratulations. I know how hard it is to have multiple pillars when it comes down to building your business. And I know it's not easy, and I just want to let you know that you're doing amazing. You're doing great. It's really awesome to see all the things that you've been building and you've been creating when it comes down to that. But I want to talk about the other thing that I mentioned earlier. Do you recall what is that? No,
But I'm ready.
nah, no. I want to talk about your this particular phase of your life that you're obviously creating workshops, creating everything. What is next besides creating, a program, building another program? What is other things that Lindsay has on her mind that really wants to aim or wants to create, not just for your company, but for the people you're trying to serve?
That's a beautiful question. I think one thing I do want to mention, it relates to this and the topic we just spoke on, is this: the slower you go within your business journey, the better you can listen to your consumers. They will tell you what they want. So one of the things that some of my clients were mentioning to me, really, really simple, it just came up in conversations, was I really value little sparks of joy throughout the day that brings me closer to myself and fulfillment and whatnot. And I thought that was just me. I have a specific mug that I use when I'm wanting to feel motivated, and I want to create some. So I actually have my self-love club mug here.
Yeah.
Self-love today. So I listened to my consumers with that. And something actually recently that came up in one of my workshops was one of the lead magnets that are working really well it's called a Balanced Life Planner. And it's just simple planner pages, obviously, because it's free. I'm not providing a full free planner, but it's monthly, weekly, daily planner templates, as well as the self-care routine template. And what is different about that is I made it for myself, and it's what I needed at that time, and I still use it right now. So the weekly side has the Eisenhower matrix, which is time management prioritization tool. Yeah. And I really recommend doing something like that weekly. And then daily, I incorporate the 1-3-5 method, which is breaking down your goals. You're not going to be as effective if you're trying to do a million things at once. We've kind of touched on that a little bit. So 1 big goal, 3 medium goals, and then 5 small goals every day. And then there's also prompts of how you're feeling. And did this specific thing I did today, how did that affect me? So building on the self-awareness. So in conclusion, those people told me that they want something bigger and better and in their hands. And I thought it was just working for me, but it really has helped so many people. And it's been a lot of signups for the email list because people want this planner. So I am going to be making a real life-size planner. My goal is to have it ready by 2026 season, so that people can have a new yearly planner that is really full encompassing and asks them those questions to get them closer to themselves. So that's a big one. And then that larger digital course is something that I'm also working on in the background too.
Nice. It's pretty amazing though. No, thank you for mentioning the fact that how important it is getting the feedback.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the feedback, right? Because it's true. I remember people will say to me back in personal training, it's like, Omar, you'll be a really good flight coach. And I was like, okay, that was the first time I heard it. But then when I heard it more than 3 times, I'm like, okay, they clearly seen something that I'm not able to see. So when I start diving into it, I'm like, oh, here is the answer to the question I was asking myself. How can I come up with better questions? How can I learn to ask better questions so to are not so direct in the moment, right? Because my curiosity inside of me is like, I need to know, and I want to know what's going on. Like, why? Well, sometimes it'll be like, but why? What do you mean? We started getting into it, but it's clear. It's really awesome that you mentioned that. Just listen to the feedback, because they will tell you a lot of things, and you may not like that.
Yeah.
You may not like that.
All about you.
But it's not exactly. It's not about you. No, this is great, and that's where I wanted to go. It has nothing to do with you. It's about your company. It's what it stands for. It has to do with the things you want to create. That's why I emphasize, like, what are the things that Lindsay wants to create? What are the things? And you answered it beautifully. And the last thing I want to mention is you seeking support from others. Mm. I think that is clear to me that you have that as your foundation, because you seek support to get better. Mm-hmm. However, that's something, and I want to mention it, that's something that for me, I can see it, a pattern that you're not just using it when you weren't your 100%. You continue to use it now that you're building all this company and you're trying to create, trying to achieve more. You're even using it like, listen, I'm not able to do it. I need the help of somebody else, right? And how are you able to tap into that? Because a lot of people don't, and yet many of us, not able to, or sometimes we're scared of even asking for help, even though we know we need the help. We just don't ask for many reasons. But it's a strong within you. How are you able to tap into it?
Good question. I've never thought of that before. I've always just been very curious, and I think that's what got me into the marketing field, and why I did enjoy it for so long, because of that curiosity. And I never want to stop learning. I think the worst thing that could happen to someone, in my opinion, is way worse things. Sorry, way worse things. But one of the worst things is feeling like you know it all and that you have it all together. And I want to be one day ready, to go on my deathbed and still have questions, still wanting to learn. Yeah, I never want to stop. And I know that there are so many people that know so much more about things than I do in several different topics. And if I ever have the opportunity to ask them, I would love to do so. And I hope people think of me like that as well, because I'm an open book and I want to help people as well. So I think I just have that innate assumption that since I want to be of service to others, I assume people also want to be of service and answer questions. But I also think it's important to, it's something I remind myself of constantly, is I'm no better than you and you're no better than me. At the end of the day, we're all human beings navigating this circular circle in the universe, and no one really has all the answers. So I think just remembering that and just doing the best you can with what you got.
Yeah. That's beautiful, though. Thank you so much for sharing. I really, really, really appreciate it. Well, Lindsay, we're almost towards the end, and this has been nothing but magical. I really want to thank you for being so open to speak about the struggle, the wins, and your learning process, and how you're able to navigate certain things. And I'm, even though sometimes you're not able to see why you're doing certain things, it's clear to me that you are very, very open-minded person, very self-aware, and when you attach it to service, you can create beautiful, beautiful things. And as an entrepreneur to entrepreneur, like how hard I know it is to have a company, have different pillars, and one particular company. Just want to acknowledge you for doing that. You're doing great. You're doing amazing. I just want to, I want you to continue to win. We want you to continue to evolve, continue to tap into the things that brings a lot of joy to you so you can continue to serve and empower others. And we will see each other again, because this is just got me really high when it comes down to, I'm like, wow, haven't been able to touch like the top of the iceberg. However, however, with that being said, is there anything you would like to share with us that I haven't been able to give you the opportunity to share with the audience?
I think just, I guess, talking to people that are listening, you are capable of anything that you set your mind to. It's your internal self that is most of the time holding you back, and that you have limitless potential, and to never forget that. Yeah, that's about it. And I do have that planner that not just works for me, but for so many people. It's just, you can get it at limitlesswithlindsay.com/free planner. And yeah, it's all yours. And hopefully you'll be seeing the actual real life planner for 2026.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your whole entire social media, and your website will be in the notes. Everybody check it out, because it's going to be linked on the notes. And before I go, I just want to say thank you so much for everything. Continue to thrive, continue to be you more than anything. I just want you to continue to do that. You've been doing an amazing job, and I you have lots of potential, and it's really beautiful for me to get in touch with you. Thank you for being here. And if you are struggling with, when it comes down to your finals, to your emails, or those limiting beliefs that I don't know how to do it, it's because of technology, it's too much, it's too much, get in touch with Lindsay. Trust me, she's going to help you work on all those limiting beliefs. She's going to help you understand, when it comes down to email, with the importance of your emails, the importance on a funnel. So do not hesitate and reach out to her. Like, I strongly recommend. I cannot recommend it enough. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.
Thank you.